Instead, we joined the last day at Tzuji's cash reward program in Blue Hills, Haiti. We learn more about ALS, a neurodegenerative disease that causes a patient's muscle to atrophy and eventually fully paralyze. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen L. Thank you for joining us. Yesterday, we looked at how Tzuji's cash reward program has opened doors to a brighter future for those living in Blue Hills, Haiti. Today, we join the last day of the program and see how local residents express their deepest gratitude to the blue and white-clad angels. 7 o'clock in the morning, and this church located in Blue Hills, Cap-Haitien is packed. Knowing that Tzuji's cash reward program in the area is coming to an end, everyone is filled with bittersweet feelings.
Today is the last day of Tzuji's cash reward program. Everyone here is filled with happiness and joy.
On this last day of Tzuji's cash reward program, the number of participants has increased from 200 to 600. For many locals, it was probably the first time that they earned an income of approximately $8 per day with their two bare hands.
Today is the last day of the cash reward program, so we have more residents participating. This is the best Christmas gift we have ever received. Tzuji gave us 3 precious gifts. They gave food, the chance to earn an income, and help change our community for the better. Although some of the locals couldn't join the program, they are still very proud of the transformation here. It's like we have a brand new community.
Over the past months, Father Rano and the Tzuji volunteers have established a strong bond. At the end of the cash reward program, more than 600 people gathered inside and around the church.
Tzuji Foundation has achieved an important milestone here in Haiti because it offered some 1,600 residents here an opportunity to earn an income. People in Blue Hills are living in hardship and often don't have food to eat. We will never forget the good deeds Tzuji has done on behalf of everyone here. Now, residents are very proud of themselves because they helped clean up their community. Today is the last day of the cash reward program, and everyone is all smiles. It is the first time that something good has happened here. Please raise your hands. Let's pray and offer our blessings to the Tzuji volunteers.
Saying prayers with their beautiful voices, Father Rano and residents of Blue Hills pray sincerely for the blue and white-clad angels. With the flood waters finally receding and through the locals' collected efforts over the past few days, the streets of Blue Hills are finally clean and tidy. By participating in the cash reward program, residents of Blue Hills have realized that they are not forgotten by the world, but will always be in the hearts of Tzuji volunteers. Torrential rains in December in Banjarnegara County of Indonesia's Central Java triggered a landslide in the local mountains. In the aftermath of the disaster, Tzuji volunteers from Jakarta visited the scene and held a small-scale distribution for 88 of the most needy families after a thorough assessment.
Here in Indonesia's Central Java, torrential rain in December caused a mudslide in Banjarnegara County. Search and rescue efforts continue in the wake of the incident.
Currently, we have found some 30 bodies. We're still looking. We hope to find them alive and not just bodies.
Though the crucial 72 hours to rescue survivors have passed, family members are still hopeful for some good news. 48-year-old Sunarti lost 32 members of her family in the tragic incident.
32 members of my family lost their lives in this mudslide. My house is buried under rocks. I only have my sister left. This is a very difficult time for me. My only hope is that the government can help rebuild my house.
In the face of this natural disaster, residents are left feeling helpless. Thus, the relief distribution held by Jakarta Tzu Chi volunteers has been especially comforting.
I'm really suffering here because I have lost my family. Thank you for giving me the daily necessities to get me through the days ahead.
When we entered the disaster zone, we saw that there were plenty of organizations helping through the distribution of various items. The residents said they had enough relief items, so Tzu Chi selected the 88 hardest hit families to conduct a distribution of daily necessities.
Local volunteers also paid a visit to shelters to entertain children, hoping to bring some laughter and joy in this unsettling time.
Many adults are mourning for the loss of their family members from this tragic event. They have been very depressed, but children, because they are younger, can't be like this for long. This is why we hope through singing and group games that the children can start living life again.
In the aftermath of this senseless disaster, Tzu Chi volunteers rushed to mend broken hearts with their love and care.
In our next report, we travel to Palo Lake Province to meet Tzu Chi's casual work program participant Willard, who has become the volunteer's driver. Furthermore, Willard has even volunteered to stay at the prefab construction site during the Christmas holidays to make sure the buildings stay safe. Happily greeting his family members is Tzu Chi's casual work program participant Willard, who only went home 3 times over the past 4 months.
I want to help speed up the construction of the prefabricated buildings because there are still many in need. The quicker we finish these buildings, the sooner disaster survivors will have a comfortable place to call home.
To make sure no time is wasted, instead of bringing his salary and dirty clothing back to his wife personally, over the past few months, Willard has often asked his colleagues to do so on his behalf.
When Typhoon Haiyan struck, the roof of our house was blown away. I am very thankful to the Tzu Chi Foundation for building houses for disaster survivors. Tzu Chi has helped us start a new chapter in our lives.
To help the volunteers carry out Tzu Chi's relief missions, Willard has taken on the job as their driver. In fact, Willard often sleeps in his car to make sure the volunteers' belongings are safe.
During his spare time, he always joins us in carrying out relief missions. Willard also makes sure our belongings are safe in his car.
Inspired by the Tzu Chi volunteers, Willard bravely repented in front of everyone. Willard says he used to make money on the side when he worked as a truck driver. However, now he has learned the importance of being honest.
The Tzu Chi volunteers trust me, so they put all their cash in my car. I once thought about taking the money, but since I was extremely moved by their sincerity, I didn't dare to touch the money.
Although Christmas is fast approaching, Willard has insisted on staying on site to safeguard the prefabricated buildings. Supporting her husband's decision, his wife Jasmine brings their children to the construction site for visits. As Christmas is just around the corner in the Philippines, Manila, volunteers have taken to the streets at night to invite the city's homeless to join an upcoming event where free haircut services and Christmas gifts will be given. Let's take a look.
Manila at night and the homeless are everywhere. Some sleep in the middle of the road, others in alleyways or on sidewalks. Among them is Judy Ann, who cradles her 9-month-old.
Before I lived on the streets with my mother, it was also on the streets that I met my husband. He already had 3 children.
Nagkaroon po kami ng isang anak. Pero tinanggap ko rin po yung 3 anak niya.
Julian's husband's 3 children sleep in what seems to be a converted dumpster.
Sana po may masuot.
I hope for Christmas the children can have some new clothes to wear. I also hope they can enjoy a good meal.
The very pregnant Joanna Marie and her entire family sits by the road waiting for the morning.
Opo, lumaki yung anak ko na
I hope my child can grow up with an education and not live on the streets.
nakatira lang sa kali tapos hindi nakapagtapos ng pag-aaral.
Every Christmas since 2003, Tsuji has been bringing love to the city's homeless, many who feel abandoned by society. This year, volunteers stepped up the scope of their activities with nightly visits around the city.
We choose to go out at night because it is only at night that we can find them on the streets. During the day, they're gone working whatever jobs they can find.
Volunteers personally invite everyone to come enjoy a haircuts and a bath, as well as gifts for the Christmas season.
Dapat po kami natanggap, ito pa lang po natanggap po namin.
Kahit wala po kami bigay sa amin, sila sa amin, salamat po.
Thank you, tsaka Merry Christmas sa anak ko. Pasko Happy New Year.
This is one distribution with no name list, but love flows just the same.
Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a rare neurodegenerative disorder where a patient's muscles atrophy followed by the loss of motor functions to the point of full paralysis. We now tell you more about the disease that inspired the recent Ice Bucket Challenge.
Though it is a cold day, with the assistance of 3 people, Zheng Xiongmao has finally come outside for some fresh air. Using a speech device, he asks others to push him to a place where he can enjoy the winter sun. Zhen suffers from amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as motor neuron disease, where the upper and lower motor neuron degenerates, leading to muscle weakness, atrophy, and eventually full paralysis of the body and central nervous system.
At a later stage, patients will begin to have trouble with swallowing and breathing. As we know, the 2 most vital functions to sustain a human life are breathing and eating. Without these 2 functions, the patient's life will be at risk.
In Taiwan, there are some 1,200 patients who suffer the disease, and there is a 5 in 100,000 chance for the symptoms to develop. Towards the end, patients usually can only move their eyes, yet they remain fully conscious, their soul trapped within their body.
As of now, there isn't a formal 3rd-stage clinical trial of stem cell therapy that proves it can treat this disease effectively.
Scientists discover that in both people and mice with the disease, there is an unusual buildup of TDP43.
A type of protein called transactive response DNA binding protein 43 begins to build up abnormally within the patient's body, which prevents other proteins from functioning normally.
A normal mouse can stay on a rotating wheel for some 100 seconds, moving nimbly. Yet a mouse with ALS has trouble steadying itself before falling within 80 seconds.
Their exercise requires the use of all 4 of its limbs, so if it has lost some of its motor functions, it will fall down quickly.
Currently, scientists have found a medication that can restore up to 50% of motor functions in an ALS mouse. The drug is already entering clinical trials, and the results will be available in as early as 2 years.
Typically, life expectancy for those who develop ALS is 3 to 4 years, but there are exceptions such as Dr. Stephen Hawking, who has lived with the disease for more than 50 years. In Taiwan, an artist by the name of Xu Zhiyang has also lived with ALS for 24 years.
Pushing himself up with both hands and walking forward with his walker, though Xu Zhiyang has had 6 surgeries, he has lived with ALS for 24 years.
My doctor told me that soon I would be fully paralyzed, and not long after that, I would then leave this world.
She already displayed an artistic talent at a young age. As he hit his prime at 36, however, he was suddenly given a death sentence.
One day, my wife suddenly said to me, "Didn't your doctor tell you to go do whatever it is that you want to do? Why not take this as a sign for early retirement?"
With his family's support, Xu reignited his passion to create art. These beautifully written Chinese calligraphies were done by Xu during painful sleepless nights.
See, look closely, and you can tell that my hand shook as I wrote these.
Xu's optimistic outlook can be found hidden within his paintings and his photographs.
We shouldn't dwell in self-loathing and always wonder why me all the time. Instead, think, thank God it's me, because I can deal with this positively. Many ALS patients not only surrender to the physical condition of the disease, but have also allowed their spirits to become bogged down as well. By seeing things from a different angle, you see a whole new world.
Xu's optimism is his best weapon against his current predicament, and it is working.
One year was particularly frightening. By May of that year, 42 fellow ALS patients had already passed away. So truly, life is impermanent. We need to cherish our life and living every moment. To me, I live every day as if it's my last day.
Xu travels around Taiwan to inspire people to live life to the fullest with his story. Though his body may continue to deteriorate, until that final day comes, Xu will continue to make the best out of his life.
Living 140 kilometers away from Kuala Lumpur is Tzu Chi Care recipient Wang Yishun. Struck with polio at a young age, Wang now relies on fishing to support his wife and 2 children. With barely enough money to put food on the table, Wang has been unable to take steps to fix his house. Fortunately, Tzu Chi has decided to do something to help.
Like Wang Yishun himself, this house sits on supports that are off-kilter.
When the wind blows hard, the entire house will rock. At night, sometimes I will get scared. Around 1 or 2 in the morning, we will rush out, not daring to sleep in the house.
43-year-old Wang Yishun came down with polio when young. Now living with his Indonesian wife and 2 children, Wang fishes for a living. But every day is a struggle to put food on the table. Home repairs are simply unaffordable.
I just take it a day at a time. That's how I get by. Of course, I want to repair the house, but I simply can't afford it.
Step here and you will know it sinks, as there is nothing underneath to support it. Here this wall is already close to falling. One look at the door and you can see how everything is leaning.
Most of Wang Yishun's house is made of wood, which has been consumed by termites. The house supports have been tied into place, yet volunteers see the situation as temporary at best.
We are worried looking at the wooden beams. You can see how they are already splitting apart or bending. This home is really not safe. We need to be diligent and quick in getting the repairs started here.
Currently, volunteers have already undertaken an initial survey and will be getting repairs going as soon as possible.
To prepare for their year-end blessing ceremony, volunteers from around the Klang area in Malaysia gathered to help assemble Tzu Chi's red envelopes of blessing and wisdom. Among the volunteers was a Hindu participant. Meanwhile, Tzu Chi volunteers in Taiwan's Taipei have been turning scrap paper from the red envelopes into charms filled with meaning.
Here in Taipei's DaAi district, a table sits full of decorative Chinese knots and thick red cardstock with Chinese characters written on it. Just what are these Tzu Chi volunteers up to?
All of this is scrap paper. The circular cardstock was left over from making the red envelopes. We then asked the brother to write blessings on them. Gluing 5 of them together makes quite a nice charm for families.
These small charms ensure that the leftover cardstock from the red envelopes is not being thrown away.
This is an extra thread, so when wrapping it, clench it like this. But be careful. If you pull too quickly, everything will fall apart. And there you go.
Listening carefully on how to assemble the paper charms, volunteers make sure each one is perfect, as the charms are to be given to participants at year-end blessing ceremonies.
I just learned how to do this today. I tried it about 10 times before I got it right. It's tough at the beginning, but afterwards it was easy.
The teacher is here, so if we don't understand at any step, we can ask her. The parts I don't understand, I won't hesitate to ask about, as she will show me till I understand. At my age, I learn slower than those younger than me.
As each charm is to be given to participants at year-end blessing ceremonies, volunteers take great care to assemble each one perfectly. Meanwhile, in Malaysia's Kelang, volunteers have gathered to assemble Tzu Chi's red envelopes of blessing and wisdom that will be given out at upcoming year-end blessing ceremonies.
It's not too difficult if everyone pays attention and slowly assembles the envelopes. They will be beautiful.
Making sure the volunteers are assembling the envelope correctly is Zhang Weihong. Formerly, Zhang's temper was quick to rise, but that has changed since she started teaching.
Over the past few years that I've been doing this, my heart has settled. I'm not as temperamental. I shouldn't rush or be anxious because that leads to anger, and who knows what I might say and how I might end up hurting people's feelings.
Among the volunteers helping is Pu Balang, who received last year's red envelope and thought to participate in the assembly this year to help spread the joy. He took a day off work to help.
Tzu Chi is a very best association. Master haven't take 1 cent from the Tzu Chi, but they sell books from the money. They share for all of us.
Coming here, I am worry-free and enjoy myself.
Everyone is grateful for opportunity to be able to help with the year-end blessing ceremony, and all look forward to receiving an envelope filled with Master Zeng Yan's blessings at the upcoming event.
We go back to the Philippines at the end of the show, where volunteers at the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter organized a winter relief distribution at the local Jingsi home. During the event, students of a vocational training program organized by the Buddhist NGO was to offer free haircut services. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.